Welcome back to the Wings versus Rings podcast. Sadly, this one is not sponsored by Delusion. It's sponsored by Broken Hearts and offensive coordinators being
Little
fired.
delusion. Little delusion.
Little delusion. All right, 50% delusion and 50%. Thank God Kevin Patullo is gone. I
Yeah.
just wanted to say thank you to our
Joke.
sponsors real quick, and we'll get into it with some reactions of these. This was a really good wild card round. All things considered, not so great for me, but from a football standpoint,
One of the best weekends I ever remember. Like the
it
first
was
weekend.
so good until Monday night, but it was so good.
I still even enjoyed that game.
Well, yeah, but
Sorry.
it meant something to you. I think
Yeah.
as I was watching
I
it,
mean, outside, I
it
love both
started.
games.
Like, the first half was good because it was close, and then it got uglier and uglier, and the floodgates broke open in the fourth. But that's not where we're starting. We're actually going to start in Carolina, where the Rams had a much closer game than I think safe to say we both anticipated. In Charlotte against Carolina,
They should have won that game. They should have won that game.
they being the Panthers.
Yeah. In like retrospect, yes.
34-31. Rams win. Stafford was 24 of 42, 304, three touchdowns, one interception. Puka had 18 targets and Adams had 13. I only highlighted that because God, I just wish we would use our
Adam said
stars
13.
like that. Yeah, he had 5 catches, but he had 13 targets. I can't tell you how many of those were like throwaways in his direction or
Gotcha.
whatnot,
Because
but
I was like, his
five
production
catches,
did not feel
13
like it was that
13
much.
targets on paper. So in the box score, certified box score enjoyer.
Certified.
I'm kidding. We watched every minute of these playoffs. It was amazing, start to finish. I had a great time. So that game was way closer than I expected. I think that's just extremely safe to say. And
Definitely.
in retrospect, something already did happen that I think we were both discussing in the moment while watching the game together, which is the Rams have picked up the fifth-year option of Bryce Young. After seeing the price tag, I'm a little less like it's a bad idea. I'm kind of glad they did it and didn't decline it and then give him 45 plus $1 million
Yeah.
per year.
I don't think it's ever a good idea because it feels like the first step in the direction of an extension. And I'm not saying he's a bad, awful quarterback. I know we're getting kind of in the future here and not on the game, but he's not an awful quarterback. He's just not a great quarterback, and you cannot be in that purgatory, in my
Well, I
opinion.
mean, we're just discussing it because, in my opinion,
Yeah,
if that game goes the way I thought it was and it was, say, 34-14, the Panthers lose, I don't think that fifth year option gets picked up. I could definitely be wrong. That's 100% on the table. But I think because this game was close and Bryce kind of brought his A game, whatever that version of Bryce Young's A game is, I would assume it's that. I think that's what directly led to it. So I just felt like it was worth mentioning. And yeah, Michael Jackson, man. Mike Jack, he was everywhere.
yeah,
Carolina's
he's
defense
came
really came to
along this
play.
year. Yeah,
Carolina's defense
they got two
was
corners
fantastic.
that can hang with those receivers, which I don't feel like a lot of teams in the NFL have that. So that comes into a part of it, and why the game is so close, and also Stafford's inability to
The
move.
move, yeah, one rushing yard on the season. On the
Yeah,
season,
and dude, he would drop back sometimes and hit his hitch, and he it was like like I mean, people say statue, right? For like people like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. I've never seen a quarterback hit their hitch and not like specifically just not even move after. Like I've
I'm
never
gonna need you
seen
to
that. Like,
stop saying the word hitch as we continue
huh,
throughout this
it's
podcast.
triggering you.
Yeah, just a little bit. We'll get
It
to
got
why
from the
later
drop of
on.
his drop back, and it's just like I've never seen a quarterback just plant and sit there for 3 or 4 minutes, like seconds, not minutes,
It
obviously.
was, it
But
was,
like
it
he doesn't even do the
was.
tech and bounce. He doesn't even do like the tech and bounce. Like I'm ready to throw the ball. Like sometimes, like it's like Jesus. There's like no athletic. It's just straight mental for him at this point, which is impressive. I was like we were saying during the game. It's even actually more impressive to
That he
me
had
that
one
like that
rushing yard
stat.
on the
Yeah,
season.
like
Yeah,
that he's
it
playing
does.
like it's 2003. Like
It
it's
definitely
so
does.
that's impressive.
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely does make the way he plays just slightly more impressive. At the same time, while watching him, you know he's very limited. You know if you make him uncomfortable in the pocket, he's not. He can't do much outside the pocket. Not to say he
And
can't
it feels
throw,
weird to
but
phrase it like that. It's like I feel like limited has like such negative connotations in the NFL, but it's the case. Like it doesn't matter if he can run or not. Like that's how good he is. But you know what I'm saying? Like whenever I hear the
he's
word limited, it's referring to Tua. It's referring to just in
I
Fields.
think it's fair to say limited when you have one rushing
Oh
yard
no,
for the
he
whole
is.
season. Like
No,
he's
he
not
is. Yeah,
moving. He's not moving.
he is
And
not
he's
a
tearing it
threat.
up inside the pocket. He's been an assassin from in a comfortable pocket. So thank God for good O line play, keeping him comfortable. But 24 of 42 doesn't necessarily tell the story of efficiency. But they got the job done, and in the playoffs, that's really all you got to do. I mean that game winning touchdown was very well placed. Not to mention, I mean, they're not in that situation if Puka catches that ball before halftime.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Puka still had a
That's
hell
when
of
they
a
come
game.
down nine to
He's a
put it 10.
fantastic receiver, so it's not necessarily a diss on him. It's just the truth. I think this game has a whole different way of playing out if they get that touchdown, which was a
Or
fantastic throw pre
to
halftime.
be
So
completely honest, I felt like the Rams botched the before half scenario like we were talking about. Like them going for it there, or like I don't know. I didn't love it in the moment. It really backfired when the game became like a one score. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it definitely did.
I couldn't
I didn't.
understand it. And were they the ones to botch? No, the Panthers were the one to botch a punt, right? And it was like
Yeah,
they
that's
did
what
nothing
gave them
with it.
that possession.
Yeah, it's like, come on, take. You know what I mean? Like you're already up like what at that point like two touchdowns. Like just take the points. But now they go in. The whole I didn't. We didn't agree with it in the moment, and in retrospect, I still don't agree with it. Like I know you're supposed to be aggressive, and I'm all for being aggressive during the regular season, but sometimes in the playoffs, take the 3 points are hard to come by in the playoffs. Like take the three. Like it's not the same thing as regular season. Like there's no next week. You know what I mean? Like the Chargers not taking that three. I mean, I know we're gonna. I didn't agree with that either. Like I want to make sure like I'm consistent here, but like 4th and 2 in the red zone, and you know it's gonna be a slugfest. Like take the three. It's not the fourth quarter.
Well, I just wanted to throw out there that one of the things we discussed as to why this game could potentially be close was I said that the defense for the Rams is the most penalized defense in the league, and they once again did that. They did it again. They were
A few spots.
heavily penalized in that first half. I believe they finished the game with 6 penalties on defense, 6 of the 9 penalties that they had as a team, and it was just like they were critical penalties, defensive holdings, and at one point I believe they got a taunting penalty. So just things that you just can't do. And
Like
time of
mental
possession was
errors.
pretty even. First downs were even. Total yards were not because Matt Stafford was lighting it up. And the story of this game truly was just the fourth down turnovers and being a little too aggressive, in my opinion, as well as some untimely drops and mistakes. But they kept them in it, which is what I was kind of trying to prep my conversation for, was how the Rams could potentially keep the Panthers in it. And I still came to the conclusion that it wasn't going to look that way, even though it did. So it was an impressive game from Carolina. I kind of agree with you. I do think that
That
they almost did
coverage.
win it. They could have.
I don't understand the coverages at the end. Like why have such soft coverages? Like
That was a great catch, though.
I can't
Great throw
remember.
and catch
No, yeah,
to Marcus to finish the game off.
that was like an awesome play. I'm talking about everything leading up to that, where the point where he could just throw a 20-yard back shoulder. Like I, why are we playing so soft? I'll never understand that. Because they're just gonna get it every time. Like when they have a minute and 40 seconds, they're just gonna get. They're gonna march. They're gonna march. Like let's play a little bit. You know what I mean? Like let's not let them get a one play touchdown. That's for sure. But let's play defense and not just like umbrella coverage and just you can have those 10 yards. You can have those 10 yards. You can have those 10 yards like that. I hate that.
It was
Like
definitely
what is the point of
it was
that?
definitely some interesting coverage to say the least. And to not I don't want to kick them while they're down, but it definitely brings up questions considering they
He
end
has
up
to
in that
chunk through
game
the
and
ball.
yeah, I you're not wrong. You're not wrong, especially with the way that the two DBs that they have out there this year have been playing
Yeah.
in J.C. Horn and Mike Jack. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Was J.C. Horn injured though
I
on
do
that
think
last
he
drive?
did leave late in the game. I can't.
Still,
I'm
I
not
still
hundred
think
percent if he returned or not, honestly. But one more thing I did want to highlight was actually the receiver play on the Carolina Panthers side of things. I thought that Coker was fantastic, as well as rookie receiver Tedoroa McMillan. They got something going there with some skill positions. That's kind of why I think we both feared this playoff game getting Bryce Young a contract extension. Not to talk down on him. It's just it feels like they're getting some things right, even when they get things wrong. Because in terms of like Jalen Coker was picked later in the draft, and they took Xavier Legette in that same draft, correct? So and Legette was a first round pick, end of the first round. So not necessarily a hit with him, but to get Coker in that same draft, it's like when the Niners drafted Trey Lance and still got Brock Purdy. Like
It washes out
yeah,
just a
it's
little bit.
a little bit, especially a little bit less for the Niners considering the capital they gave up for Lance. They didn't need to when you think about it, but hindsight's 2020. But I just wanted to highlight some good receiver play from both of them. I thought that Coker was incredibly impressive. Route running was
I
great.
don't.
He felt like every
Oh, yeah.
crucial catch there, like third downs,
Sure-handed.
it was him, and I was just
You know
extremely
what I
impressed
didn't
with
like?
it. Go
What I
ahead.
didn't like, I don't like the way people were reacting to like Jimmy Horn. Like I
Oh,
feel
the
like
drop.
okay, you're like you're relying on like the fourth string receiver. I do believe him in being like a decent receiver in the NFL. Like yeah, maybe he should have been a body catch and maybe he should have gone down. Like he should have done those things, right?
I believe that was his first
But
target on the game, though.
yeah, no, I think that it was like his second or third target. But my point was I don't like the process and the fact that in the final drive, for the Panthers, like two or three of the last four balls Bryce Young threw went to him. He hadn't got, like you said, a target up until that point, and now it's him, like in the most needed situations. And you have these other two stud wide receivers that are having the game of their lives, and you're going to him. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like of anyone, it's gonna be him in these moments, and we're
I
gonna
love the
blame
way
him when he doesn't come up with it.
I love the way fan bases can react to things because I'm the same way. We need a scapegoat at the end of the day. It's just the way it is, like in
But
football.
they should be happy just to be there. I'm not gonna
You're
lie.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
Different levels.
He's gonna be the scapegoat, but I hope that it doesn't get to him too much because I do think that fans can break a player. I think we could break their mental in a sense. So hopefully he doesn't let it get to him because to have two targets on the game and they both come in the
Like third and fourth down to the final drive.
yeah, final drive of the game, balls in your hands. You need three to tie. You just need points at the end of the day. It's that drive, and to get your first two targets to not come up in that moment. I'm sure it's already hard enough. I'm sure he's hard enough on himself for it, and now the fans coming for you. I didn't like that it was him either. Not any disrespect to him, but like you're saying, Coker having the game of his life, quite literally halved his season yardage in that game, and Teteroa McMillan was he was good in good moments, and he had some good moments, and it was a weird person to get the ball in those situations. But I guess it could be a credit to the Rams defense for taking away the other two options. I haven't watched the all 22 on it, but I'm sure that you got to credit the Rams defense for taking things away in that moment as well.
As a quarterback, you got to throw to the first person that gets open, right? I just think in those moments you just give it a little bit longer and let your playmakers do something. Like I don't know. That's just how I felt in the moment. I don't know. Maybe some of the pockets were really muddied, like, I'd have to go back, like you're saying. But in the moment, I felt like, oh, he had more time than that. He didn't need to hit, like, I don't know.
At the end of the day, I was expecting a blowout. The Panthers made it a great game. It started a great
Yes.
weekend of football. Uh, it was fantastic. Puka was incredible. I love the way McVay coaches. I love the way he schemes on offense. It's good football to watch, and I know what bad football looks like. So that finishes my thoughts on Rams Panthers. If you're ready to
Yeah.
go, let's shift this into Packers Bears 3 on this season.
Yeah.
Bears scored 25 points in the fourth quarter to overcome a 18-point halftime deficit and to finish this wild card round with a victory at home, so they get to host in the second round. They host the Rams, the team we just talked about, so that'll be a good game. Caleb Williams was 24 of 48 for 361 yards, two touchdowns, and two interceptions. Granted, I do truly believe one of those interceptions was we're going for it on fourth down, I'm going to arm punt it. And honestly, it was a really good decision on his part. If it was, it looked like a high IQ play. The
I
play
can't
wasn't
believe that
there,
guy
Reed
picked it
wasn't
off.
there. Yeah, should have been batted down. It was thrown right to a Packer. Like looked like a good play on his part. But got a couple things to note. But I'm gonna start. I'm gonna let you start this one off.
Yeah.
Packers Bears
So
thoughts.
coming into this, I guess we should have said like our predictions beforehand, but we both had the Rams. That
That's,
felt pretty obvious. Our based on
yeah,
our discussion, I think we both had the Packers in this.
I did. Yeah,
So
mostly because I
our
wanted them to knock the Bears off for us to get a home playoff game in the second round, but we
well,
couldn't handle business.
I
But
just thought
continue.
the Packers were a better team than the Bears, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't want to say I still kind of feel that way because obviously the better team always wins. But I'm not gonna lie, I still feel the way that the Packers are better than the Bears.
Can't
This
say
doesn't change my mental too
I
much
can't say I
because
disagree,
this,
and I'll elaborate a little more
yeah,
when you finish your thoughts.
I and not to even say that Jordan Love had a bad game or anything because he had a great game in my opinion. So I'm not also gonna give the Bears just they have the better quarterback now because they won. Like that to me, he made special plays, but why does it have to come down to the fourth quarter him being great all the time? Like it's awesome to watch, but as a fan or as like an evaluator of talent, it's like can we not just be great in one quarter? I'm not going to concede that the Bears are the best team in the division or anything like that. But this was an amazing game for them, and they got that monkey off their back, in my opinion, a little bit. Maybe they shouldn't be so scared of their big brothers in the NFC North. That is cool. Caleb having this awesome moment is
That
cool, but
was
it
a
reminds me
crazy
a little
throw.
bit of Trevor Lawrence 2 or 3 years ago against
The
the
Chargers.
Chargers, where it's like and I feel the same way about that game. It's not them coming back more so to me, and I wonder your opinion is. It's more of the other team collapsing from ineptitude. Like, why are they running the ball on me 3 times in the fourth quarter, or even in like up 11? Like that doesn't
I
make any
definitely don't
sense to
fully
me.
disagree, and that's where a lot of my points were gonna go to, was coaching not to lose in the second half.
Yeah,
That's a
or
lot of it.
just bad coaching. Like, I, Matt LaFleur, I think is a the good like coach, and it sucks because I mean I'm sure you're hearing this everywhere, but in the NFL you can't just be good. Like it needs results based. Like it sucks. Any other job you're fine. I don't know if I'd bring him back because it seems like this entire year, just the ineptitude, like the amount of blown double digit leads in the fourth quarter is not okay. And it came back to bite him in the worst moment. Like I don't know what to say other than the Bears won this game. Congrats. I feel like it was more of the Packers shooting themselves in the foot, though.
The
If I'm being
Packers did
completely
it three
honest.
times this year. They got away with it once. But
Yeah,
stat of the week possibly is that the 3 game series against the Bears
out of
Packers.
the century.
Uh, yeah, this is insane. Stolen stat, by the way. I didn't research this one myself, but in a 3 game series, the Bears were 2-1 against the Packers, but ran 0 plays on offense with a lead. The Packers ran 106. I
Insane.
It's hard to comprehend that. 0 offensive plays with a lead, but you won 2 of 3 games. It's hard to comprehend that, and the only way you could really break that down is what we were just talking about, which is really, really poor coaching to end a game. Really, to
Yeah,
end for a full second half in a 3 game stretch, it was bad coaching mixed
it's
with some
just
bad
simple
plays, right?
things.
Like fumbles
Yeah,
fumbles and onside kicks and some crazy plays, some miracles, if you will. But you put yourself in situations for miracles to happen.
yeah, and it's just like things like why is that DB
Excuse me.
picking that ball off? Why does he not realize the moment, the time, thing, all of that, right? Why
What we're
is he?
referencing, just for the record, is the Bears went for it around on fourth down, around midfield, I want to say, and Caleb had the wherewithal to see it was like 4th and 6. I want to say 4th and 4. Who It doesn't matter. Point being, convert or turn it over right there around midfield. Caleb knew my read's not there, chucked it deep directly to a Packer inside the 10, I want to say, and he caught it.
Yes.
So
Like,
I understand balls coming towards you. You're a DB. You're probably wired to make that play. I get it, but you need to have higher IQ in that moment. I can't even
maybe,
tell
but
you exactly
in the
what
playoffs, you have to be
ensued, but
prepared. You have to be more prepared than the other team. So like that's just a lack of preparation. And like the oh man, I'm spacing it out because it just gets me so angry. Oh, they have 2 kickers on their roster, but they can never get it right. They can never ever get it right. They left 7 points on the board,
yeah, two
unprecedented.
missed field goals and a missed extra point is
And
definitely
it's
not
like
good.
they have no discipline. Every game I watch of them, like these big moments, they get these taunting penalties. They get these unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. They get these insane, like emotional penalties, and it's like you cannot, in these moments, being this much more of an experienced team, you cannot be the ones getting goaded into things. Like it almost
You
feels
can't
like
be
I
up
don't.
11 with 6 minutes and 36 seconds
Yeah,
and lose, and that's a team. That's a full team thing right there, and I that's just ridiculous to me. It was truly
and I don't
ridiculous
like.
exactly how this game played out.
I don't like them going like deep in the 2 minute drill or whatever it ended up being at the end. I don't like that they're going deep to start. Right, you kind of just take the yards. You take what's given to you. You know what I mean? Like it's not good process. And then unfortunately, some things come down to like things that are not in their control, like the injury timeout. I can't blame him for that, obviously.
Of course.
But you burnt a timeout earlier in the game to not get a delay of game penalty, just to get a delay of game penalty coming out of that timeout. Like that stuff is like insane. Like I don't know if I'd extend Matt LaFleur. That's how bad this season has been for him, in my opinion. Like let him walk.
I can't say that I agree with that sentiment. I understand where you're coming from, and maybe I'm in the wrong on this, but I do think that it's hard to find offensive minds like Matt LaFleur. So
Mm,
I personally would keep
it
him,
is.
and I do think that what he's done with the quarterbacks that he's had, and you know, Aaron Rodgers is not a good quarterback to be like the quarterbacks he's had. I don't mean it in that sense. I just mean the way he's been able to elevate their game. Aaron looked great under Matt LaFleur after people questioned if they would work out. I'm not saying it directly led to a lot of wins, but I believe he won 2 MVPs with Matt LaFleur. Jordan Love has looked fantastic. Malik Willis has looked really good when he comes in.
I know,
So
but
I think he is
it
really,
ultimately comes
really,
down to
really great with his quarterbacks, and he's a
yeah.
fantastic play caller or schemer, I should say. He can scheme him. He's really good at offensively scheming. That said, you're right. It has
We'll
happened
have
too many
moments where he
times,
doesn't
and
want to pull it off.
these the coaching comes down to being able to make good decisions in moments as well, and he didn't do that. Not very well
Manage
this year,
games.
and he hasn't done it in the past as well. And it's rough to say that you're wrong for them to think it's kind of like the Harbaugh and even Tomlin right now hasn't been as long, but you've seen what it is. The results are what they are. They haven't changed. So why extend them? I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I would,
Have you seen the
but I get
stat where it's
what you're
like
saying.
they've been the seventh seed like every year that the seventh seed has been
Yeah,
a
if the
big football
seventh seed,
champion?
yeah, if the seventh seed didn't
So it's
exist, they
like
would have never made the playoffs.
they would have never made the playoffs. But it's I get what you're saying. There's a premium on offense in this league, and there should be because you need to score points.
They
It's
could fire
just
him.
you can't be
They
a
could
little
trade him to
bit
us.
better Josh McDaniels. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like to me. It's like Josh McDaniel always calls a great offense, great scheme, this, that, the third. Always has it, like Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler underneath him. Drake May's an MVP candidate. Like he had Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady, him and Tom Brady came up at the same time. It wasn't like Tom Brady was this guy. I guess he was like a 3-time Super Bowl champion, but he wasn't Tom Brady the way we know he is. Like there's some like developed like Josh McDaniels is an elite offensive play caller, designer, all of that. He's not meant to be a head coach. Some people, not to say that he's not meant to be a head coach, he's just not meant to be a Super Bowl winning head coach in my mind at this point. He's had multiple years. He's had great teams, great quarterbacks, and he cannot find a way to like manage games. You can't be at this stage in your career and be worse at managing games.
I agree that
You can't
he
regress in that.
managed the game very poorly, and I feel like we have
This whole
elaborated
year,
that a lot on this game, and I don't want to take
yeah,
too
because
much
that's my
away
only
from the
takeaway,
Bears.
really.
So slide over to just a little bit of Bears love, which is, like I've said, I love offensive minded head coaches because I don't have one. So
Mhm.
I love them. And I think they are a premium, and the Bears have one themselves. Ben Johnson going for it on all those fourth downs. Not sure I agree, but 25 fourth quarter points, and that throw that Caleb made to Odunze on a fourth down and 8. I mean, they don't win that game if he doesn't make that throw. And it was over 3 Packers, under another 2. As good a throw as you could make, and it was on as crucial a down as you could make it. So yes, I'm not going to sit here and completely say he was fantastic start to finish, but there are great halves, there are great quarters, there are great plays, and he had all of the above.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a little bit of love because yes,
Caleb Williams is
while I
gonna
do
be
think the
special.
Packers lost that game, and ultimately I would say the split is more, and this is gonna sound disrespectful to Chicago, but I do think it's like a 70-30 split, and it's probably more that's I'm probably giving them more credit than you will, but I'm saying 70-30 in the direction of 70% that's the Packers coaching a awful second half and ultimately losing their team a game in the playoffs.
And I'd probably be similar just because you got to go out there and score those points. Like you gotta go out there and it was weird too because it wasn't even like a consecutive drive after drive. Like oh they got all this momentum. It wasn't even like that. That's
Yeah.
what really like blows my mind. I've never seen a comeback like that
It was weird that
where
the Packers scored a touchdown with just over 6 minutes
during the
left.
comeback.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
them
still lost.
the Bears punting and like not having consecutive drive after drive after drive touchdowns. Like it wasn't just a momentum thing. it wasn't just like we got hot and we're every drive you can't stop us. They got stopped on a couple drives in between. That's why I really just can't wrap my head around Matt LaFleur getting washed up in the moment. And I do think it is awesome to have a great offensive minded head coach, but I'm trying to think in the previous whatever amount of years who who has been the aggressive, great offensive mind to win Super Bowls. McVay, I don't know if he was aggressive necessarily during that time.
Andy Reid.
And Andy Reid, he's one of the least aggressive coaches in the NFL. This
You're
is the
not
first
wrong.
year he's ever gone for it. So
Not really a fourth
it's
down
like
guy.
at all. Like
I'm
they're
not
the team that
necessarily
punt on
saying
4th and 2.
aggressiveness is what I want. I just want a
Yeah.
great offensive play caller. So I do think
And the
that
Packers,
some things go hand in hand. Ben Johnson clearly got some ideals from his head coach in Detroit. Dan Campbell is a fourth down merchant. That said, I do want to give a little bit of flowers. I mean, I gave as much flowers to the Bears as I possibly could in that conversation because I do truly believe the Packers up 18 at halftime. You have to coach awful to lose that game. You have to play awful. You have to execute poorly and
up 11 in the 4th.
calling three runs in the second half or the third quarter, whichever one.
It might have been the second half, but yeah,
it's so bad.
It
It's bad either way. It's really bad. You can't do that. You can't do that at all. That's inexcusable. However, I do want to give a little bit of love to the Packers receivers. 4 different receivers to score, and one of which I thought was incredibly impressive was Matthew Golden. I've been waiting all year for this kid to look great. I've been waiting all year for him to look great, and that's the best any Packers receivers looked all year, in my opinion. In my opinion. So I thought it was cool to see him have somewhat of a coming out party in the playoffs. It sucks that it didn't ultimately matter because, they still got sent packing, but just wanted to give a little bit of love. 4 different receivers to get into the end zone, Golden being one of them. I thought Dobbs had a good game, but I said while watching it, I think Dobbs is one of the most confusing. Romeo Dobbs am I saying his last name correct?
You're saying it right. Yeah.
I believe he's one of the most confusing receivers in the NFL because he'll make an insane one-handed grab that I feel like he shouldn't have caught. The over-the-shoulder one-handed catch he had up the sideline on that, I believe it was the right side, was a phenomenal catch. And then comes out and drops like a third down ball the next drive. I don't understand him. He makes no sense to me because I'm telling you.
Some of the most heads-up plays.
But then some bonehead plays.
Stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing to describe. It's especially weird to say that after a game like he just had 8 catches, 124 yards. But kind of. Actually, that one gets called back. He gets a touchdown on the same drive, anyways.
Thanks,
so he doesn't get credit because you can't advance it. So they credited the fumble down at the 1, and even though he recovered in the end zone, the ball goes back to where the fumble occurred. So he ends up they scored on 4th down and goal as well on that drive. It took all 4 downs. So, but he got it. He deserved it. He deserved it.
It's like forward progress because I feel like the amount of times we've seen that happen, and it has.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird the way the fumble rules work at all, though.
Or even
there was one
2-point conversion
recently. I think it was in the Pats game where a fumble happened and someone picked it. You guys made someone fumble and someone picked it up and advanced it. I feel like maybe
10 yards. Yeah, no, that happened.
So it's weird when things can be advanced and when they can't. I'm not really sure on those rules. Maybe I need to look into them a little more.
I'm really just thinking about the Seahawks 2-point conversion.
That one's awful. I hated that. Everything about it. Or Rams.
It's different because it's a backwards pass. I don't know. Behind the line of scrimmage. I don't even know. But poor Rams. That's good Rams. Yeah, but I will give some love to the Bears. I think they won in the offseason. They drafted 2 studs in Burden and Loveland. We knew those guys were not really elite.
Loveland was
big call. They went and retooled their offensive line. They went and retooled their offensive line to the point that it's one of the best in the NFL. They have an elite run game, even though actually down to down, I don't like it. I've expressed that multiple times on this podcast. I feel like it's not a consistently good run game in the sense of down to down, but it's consistently good in the sense at the end of the game, you look at the stats, they have 150 rushing yards, 200 rushing yards. They will run the ball above everything else. And I do think there's levels to this offensive coordinator. There's a guy like LaFleur who's pass first. Everything comes through the pass game. And then there's someone like Ben Johnson who's I want you to run the ball. I'm a new age offensive coordinator, but running the ball is a staple and the foundation.
Also very good.
A little bit more offense.
I was gonna say I think he's also really good at scheming up run plays. They create great pass plays. incredibly
Yes,
good at it.
like the DJ Moore touchdown,
Yep.
or like that was a screen technically earlier in the game, but yes, that it adds a wrinkle. You run the ball so you can pass, and there's people like LaFleur who just get caught up in the moment and don't run the ball. It doesn't make sense to me, but yeah, we slandered him enough. Great Bears win, like greatest Bears win I've ever seen in my lifetime. So
Definitely think that's fair to say.
it's it's awesome to see a fan base get some like love in that regard, but I still am just frustrated with the Packers because I'm kind of a closeted Packers fan if I'm being honest. So it's a little bit more like, man, I can't believe this happened. That's just my takeaway.
I think you might want to define closet fandom because it may sound
Yes.
to people that aren't familiar with us using this term like you have a second favorite team,
Oh yeah, no.
which is
It's
just
just I
not the
enjoy the
case.
watching the Packers. I
It's
enjoy
almost
like
like a
I
connection to
enjoy the
certain
fan.
players, and
Yes.
you just end
Yeah. And
up
also
kind of
just
having an
like the
affinity for a team.
just the fact that they're like such a consistent organization and like I don't know. I like that. I'm not gonna ever be a fan of like the Titans. You know what I mean? Like there's certain
And the Titans
teams in
catch
the
a
NFL.
stray in the off season for them in the off season. Yeah, no, the Colson Loveland point was fantastic. I'm glad you brought that up because he did have an incredible game. He was huge. Burden, not so much. Not to say he hasn't been a great addition to the team, just in this specific game, not really an impactful player. That said, great game, great win, another great, just fantastic football game to watch. Just as a not, I wasn't necessarily a neutral fan because I thought I had something relying on that game, but it was just great football. A close football game in the playoffs is always going to be good football, and it wasn't close to start, but it ended so it was fantastic football. And nonetheless, I want to move us into the first game of the Sunday slate.
Yeah.
Jacksonville hosting the Buffalo Bills. We talked about this last week. I was really 50-50 on this game. I was the most torn
Good
about
lord.
picking this game because I believe that Trevor Lawrence was having a really good year, not great, but good, and that team was a better full roster, top to bottom, than the Bills have. That said, I believe in
Yeah.
Superman himself and Josh Allen. So it was really tough for me to pick. I do ultimately think I leaned the direction of the Jaguars, and I was wrong. And I'm kind of glad I was wrong in the sense that I do think that they're a more fun watch going forward. But
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence was a little bit underwhelming in this game. I think that's safe to say. He got the ball in his hands late in the fourth quarter with a chance to take a lead after, in my opinion, the Bills had scored just a little bit too quickly, and he had an interception. It was tipped. It was a good. It wasn't a bad ball. It was tipped in the air and intercepted. It was a good play defensively by Tre'Davious White and Cole Bishop, who ultimately came down with the ball off the tip. That said, I did want to bring the stat up. I don't know if you are aware of this, but Trevor now has 7 interceptions through 3 playoff games.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah,
Although
a little bit too
he had
much.
4-1 that he won,
That is true. He did have four
but
in one
still,
game, but
there's context. Yeah.
but
Not good. Awful stat.
so Josh Allen puts on the cape, has the longest touch push I've ever seen in my life as it goes for 9 yards, almost 10, on a fourth down where you're thinking, can they get this 2 yards? They get that times 5, and it was pretty crazy. They go right back to the well after they say it was short. They get the rushing touchdown to ultimately win them the game. Jacksonville did a great job shutting down James Cook, but you shut down one hero, you can't shut down the other.
I agree. And honestly, this wasn't even
A hero game?
this. It was a hero game. I don't understand that because he was like, okay, he didn't go for 6 touchdowns because if that's the standard for him being superhero or Superman, then yeah, he didn't do that. But the efficiency, the like the calculatedness of it all, like just he was just dicing this team up. Like he couldn't have done better, and I think that's what comes down to like a superhero in my mind is they couldn't have done better, and he was perfect in almost every facet of the game. I was gonna say I took the Bills. It was a coin flip for me too, but it came down to something like exactly like I thought it would. It's gonna come out down to these quarterbacks in these final drives, and who do I believe in more? It's just Josh Allen. Not that Trevor Lawrence can't be great, I guess.
There's
He
levels
just
to
has
it,
that
and
turnover gene in him. I know it wasn't necessarily his fault, but it's also the first play of the drive. You have the best kicker in the NFL, second best kicker in the NFL,
you're down 3.
and
You
you
only
only need a
need
field
3.
goal. Yeah.
tie the ball game.
You
Ultimately,
don't need to
it's
push it. You don't need to push it.
I
And he pushed
agree.
it.
It wasn't the greatest of reads, but it also wasn't the worst of balls that
Yeah.
were thrown. It
He
was
could have came down with it.
it ended worse than
'Cause
anything else. Tre'Davious White made a great play to get that ball tipped into the
yeah.
air. Cole Bishop,
Oh, 100%.
right place, right time,
Every
and
time.
they made the play they needed
But
to make in
Josh
that
Allen
moment.
isn't like these elite quarterbacks aren't going to. They're gonna understand situation. Like I don't need to throw this ball right now. Can it work out for me? Yes, but can it not like? Let me get the open guy. Let me get the guy. I don't know. Let me get the guy going out of bounds. Maybe it's. I didn't like the process for him. I didn't like
I'm
how
also
he
highly certain that
played the first half of the game either. To be completely honest,
we're talking about Trevor in
but they
this.
exploded. Yeah, but they exploded in the fourth. He was stepping up when he needed to. He had some great drives, like to take the lead, like go ahead touchdowns, like that. That was very impressive. But he couldn't hang with Josh Allen for all three drives. Like that's really what it came down to, and we'll see in the future what this team is. I think this is a great building block year.
I definitely think that they were ahead of schedule this year. 13 wins after
Yeah,
13 losses. Big turnaround year for them, and I it sucks to go one and done
going
in the
against the
playoffs,
best
especially when
quarterback.
it's I was gonna say especially when it's at home too. But
Yeah,
you didn't have the luck of the draw on that one, and I think things start a little bit differently if they host the Chargers. But that's not what fate brought
sure.
them. Fate brought them Josh Allen, and Josh Allen brought them an L. So I mean
I still
that's
don't
really what it
understand the
was
Tyson Campbell trade. Like I hate it in retrospect
for
for
Greg
Greg
Newsom.
Newsom.
I like
Hate
Newsom,
it.
but I agree that
I
it was
love Tyson
a
Campbell.
downgrade.
Yeah, extremely in my opinion. Greg Newsom has been awful this year, and Tyson Campbell's been good. So you traded him one for one. I can't wrap my head around that. It sucks Travis Hunter went down.
Yeah,
But at the same time, he wasn't an impactful
I would.
player anyways. Really,
Well, he's a rookie. I mean, you got to give him more time than that to say that
yeah,
whether or not
but
he
you're
was going to have an
drafted.
impact. But
You're giving up that capital. You're drafted to have an impact.
I don't fully
He just
think that they were. I don't fully think they were utilizing him to his fullest potential either. Just to be fair. That
I
said,
think he was
I
getting
wanted to say
out of the
that I
ball.
think that the targeted player on that interception to end the game is Parker Washington, and I don't think he should have been in the game.
I thought it was Jacoby Myers.
Oh, I think you're right. I do think it was Jacoby, but
I think Jacoby
regardless of the
Myers is
point,
awesome.
Parker Washington should not have returned to the ball game.
Oh yeah, no, that
He
was
shouldn't have returned. I cannot believe he was cleared for his own health purposes. He was clearly concussed. I am in awe that the NFL green lighted him going back in one way or the other. Whether that don't they have the neuro doctors like the neurological doctors on the
yeah. There's
sideline?
like an
So
independent. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that those are hired by the NFL. Therefore, I'm placing blame on the NFL for allowing him to be back in the game. It didn't ultimately matter, I guess, because he didn't get like re-injured, but I just didn't. I really didn't like that he was back on the field after
he blocked the
just.
play and he collapsed on the ground. It's
It
like
was
that's
not good,
not that's
and
an
he was like
extreme
looking
pace.
at his hands weird. It was just not. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good sign. It was. It kind of made me nervous every time he got.
I appreciate the warrior in him, but yeah, like
Every
that's
time he got hit, I was just like, holy, yeah, just be okay, please. But just yeah, I don't got really much else to say. The game kind of played out how I thought it
Josh
would
Allen.
play out. I thought maybe Trevor Lawrence does make those plays down the stretch. He doesn't. I'm not necessarily surprised. I'm not surprised at all by Josh Allen's game. I wasn't surprised that the number one rush defense was able to contain James Cook. I feel like the game, as far as every game that happened this weekend, it went exactly as I feel like you would think just looking
Yeah,
at these teams on paper. So
it's crazy because it was so explosive at the end, but the score isn't as high as I feel like it would be. Like looking at Josh's like stats, like 3 total touchdowns, like 7 total incompletions, like just a perfect game by him. And it still was like we had to score in the fourth, late in the fourth, down. What he was down 4 points. Um, it was weird. It was a weird game plan to me because he felt awesome, and he still needed to put it all together to win. And that's why they do scare me in the long run because Josh Allen is great. I just don't think like not having a run game. That game, they have the best in the NFL, but or statistically, even though by the end of the year, I didn't feel like it was the best. Um, they had an awesome like game by Josh Allen, and it still took all of that just to barely win. Like I'm scared for them. I know we're gonna preview stuff here in a little bit, but
Nervous
I don't
going
think
forward.
that type of game is gonna sustain itself against like the Broncos or the hopefully the Patriots. But anyways, yeah, the Bills are awesome because Josh Allen's is awesome, and the Jags are awesome because Liam Cohen's awesome, and they're gonna be back next year, and they're gonna have this is a great building block year. They just ran into the more experienced team with more hunger. That's
I think
really
if
what it felt
Josh
like it
Allen
came down
had
to.
an elite receiver, this game's not even close. I'm just
Oh
gonna go ahead
yeah,
and say that this game is not
I
close.
agree.
Josh Allen has an elite receiver. I mean, he made Khalil Shakir
Who's
look
are they gonna
fantastic.
get a
12
receiver?
receptions. I mean, we'll talk about that at a later date. I just was trying to highlight the fact that he did this with. I mean, Khalil
Brandon
Shakir
Cooks,
leading the way. Brandon Cooks getting 58 yards, and I mean, can we
who was
just
the
say that
thing until mid year.
they were also really good plays on behalf of Brandon Cooks. I mean, they were some
Oh
great
yeah,
catches, some great adjustments.
back in that NFL.
Veteranship. You could easily see that he's a long time receiver in this league by the way that he was able to feel the gaps in the defense and make himself available to Josh Allen. I'm not trying to discredit the receivers and the two fantastic tight ends that they have. It's just that
Yeah,
he
that's true.
wasn't out there with. We won't even get
Great
into that. It was a great
receivers,
game.
but he
It was
has
a
a
great
great
game.
offensive line, the second best running back in the NFL, and
In terms of
probably the best tight end room as a collective talent. Like there's talent on
no,
the Bills, but it's
Keon
not the
Coleman
talent you
had
want.
one hell of a catch. Supposed to be our number one. But defensively, I didn't think that there was. I actually thought that the Bills'
I
defense
didn't think the Bills
played,
had it like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
played above the standard that I
surprisingly.
had set for them. Milano looked good. Shaq Thompson, former Panther legend, right there. He looked pretty damn good, and they made some plays. I think Shaq had an interception. So that was it
Devin
was
Lloyd's
much
a
better than
free
I
agent,
thought. But the
right?
one thing that I was, you
Better
said
bring him
who?
back.
I'm sorry.
Devin Lloyd's a free agent, I think. They better bring him back. That dude doesn't.
That's on the other side of the ball, right? You talk about
Yeah,
Jacksonville's.
yeah. Sorry,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no.
Just thinking about it.
All I got to say is Josh Allen is who everyone thinks Josh Allen is. So let's see if he can
Yeah,
continue this
and
run.
he
It was a
deserves praise.
great round
What do
one.
you think he's doing?
It's
He
gonna be a
deserves
rough one.
praise.
He's got to do it on the road. There's
Dude,
the only
already.
way. He did. Yeah, he was on the road this week in Jacksonville. He'll be in Denver. We'll talk about that a little more in a minute here. But everything will be on the road. So I guess I'll get us into the one I don't really want to talk about, and that's 49ers coming in Philadelphia and ending the season and my hope, and ultimately putting my delusion to an abrupt end. I prep for all the podcasts, and on this one, I put no notes needed, so I will just speak from the heart. I I talked a lot about Jalen rising to the occasion in the playoffs, and ultimately it didn't happen. I'm not saying that he was awful. I'm not placing full blame on him. I don't think he's blameless in this loss by any means, but I expected him to be a playoff riser, to make more plays with his legs, and to just be more efficient, I guess, have more splash plays, and I didn't believe that. I don't believe he made that jump that I gave him credit to make. There were two notable plays that I want Jalen to make, and I'll even note three in there. I'm not going to go exactly play by play for you, but ultimately rolling out of clean pockets, throwing the ball away on third downs, and throwing the ball a little bit too high in moments we really need it. And I will note that one in specific, that third down play before the fourth down that ends our season. He puts that ball just slightly lower. I think Smitty makes that catch, and who knows how that game ends if it's first down and goal. That said, I will move on to the defense because they do deserve their flowers before I continue to cook the Eagles offense for 10 minutes. They were fantastic. We wasted an all pro season out of two of our corners. We wasted an incredibly coached season by Vic Fangio. I mean, I say that because it felt like every time, oh, this might be a rough game for us, he made an adjustment, he fixed it fast, and it was beautiful. I do think that this wasn't the greatest of defensive games from him, but it's really hard for your defense uh, to play to their standard
I
for a
mean,
full 60 minutes when they're out there
yeah, so long.
non-stop in the second half. Because in the
Yeah,
first half, what the Niners did is they opened the game with attacking, I think, our best defensive player in Quinion Mitchell. And I'm not going to lie, I turned immediately to those that were with me watching the game, and I said that I'm not worried because that's our best defensive player and he'll get it right. I was correct. He had two interceptions in this game, but it didn't matter. So That said, I'm going to turn back to talk about this Eagles offense that had over 10 more minutes in time of possession, had 2 less turnovers, didn't lose their star tight end or anybody to injury in this game. In this game, like, yes, Lane didn't go. We thought Lane was going to be a go. He didn't, but that was a pregame thing. We didn't. No one went down. It was awful. It was awful. It was exactly what it had been all season, and I let myself truly believe that there would be a better version of this Eagles offense. And for that first drive, I mean, shoot, I was ready to text everyone. I was right. I want apologies. We got Smitty in the backfield. I don't know when, but we hired Kevin O'Connell. Like, this is crazy. And then drive 2 comes around, and like, oh, everyone just ran a hitch route again. So I say that, and it sounds like jokes, but I actually do have the statistics to back it up. The Eagles ran hitch routes on 27.6% of routes ran this weekend. That was more than double the next closest team. And if you average the average hitch routes every other team had out there was 12.6%. We had 27.6% of hitch routes ran. It's just one of many issues that I had with the offensive coaching. And the offensive coaching, well, it has been seemingly placed on Kevin Patullo entirely, as he has been dismissed from his job today. And while I am glad that that is the way it went, I think it's unfair. The same way I felt when Brian Johnson got fired. We in Philadelphia need a scapegoat every year. I, first and foremost, might be the most guilty of it. I need one. This year is Kevin Patullo. 2023 was Brian Johnson. We did the same thing to Doug Peterson. I believe that they did the same thing to Andy Reid. You need a scapegoat. I think Kevin Patullo is this year's, and I don't think it's entirely his fault. While I do think he was no help to the situation, I think Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts deserve more of the blame. I tried to hold Jalen responsible for practically no blame all season long. And it was all predicated on I believe he's a winner and I believe he could rise to the occasion, and he did not do that. It sucks to be wrong. It sucks to lose in the playoffs, but you gotta be a man and admit when you're wrong. And if I can't be if I can't be a fan of this team when we lose, I don't deserve to be a fan when we win. So it sucks, but I still think that there's a bright future in Philadelphia.
Definitely, you guys are still an elite organization with a great team. It just the coaching needs to get it together. Um, in that regard, I was gonna say my whole thing with the Eagles all season was they're not a team that I have faith that they're just gonna flip a switch. They're not the Chiefs. They're not the Brady Patriots. Like, I'm not just gonna trust that you can coast all year. Like, if the NFL, teams tell you who they are, and that's what I thought. But I thought they were gonna win this game specifically because their defense. And I thought, okay, even when we talked about it, I said that I think it's more likely that you guys win this game, but you're not going to win by more than 5+ points because the spread was like 5.5.
It
I
was,
was like,
yeah.
I just
Got
don't
up to
see that
6 at
because you
some
guys
point.
play close every game, but you just like hold on for like dear life. And I thought that's how this game script was going to go. I thought it was going to be get punched in the mouth early, score early, and then just coast on it and just play great defense. And they can't get to 19. It was, and like I think I even said in the podcast, the first to 20 is going to win this game because
And
that's the stat that's been like haunting the Eagles all year. Is 19 points against every playoff team, which you guys played a lot of playoff teams, so there was reason to have faith that you could beat these teams, and I thought you ultimately would because the Niners defense was so sorry. Yes, everything that has troubled the Eagles
came to
all year,
fruition. I mean, AJ Brown and
exactly
Nick
what it is.
Sirianni, and just it was not good. And I don't really want to talk too much on the AJ stuff right now. I feel like it'll be a topic of conversation more for our podcast in this off season, especially considering
Yeah,
I think it's very highly likely that not highly likely that he's traded. It might be, but if
I'm
he
on
were
board that
to
we're
be
talking
traded,
more.
I think it's a very high likeliness that your team is going to be involved in trade talks at a minimum. So I think
Yeah,
that we'll talk more about that. I don't want it to be true. I love AJ. I mean, you know how I feel when it comes to AJ versus Devontae. Not that you ever really need to have that conversation when they're teammates, but I love Smitty since he's homegrown talent. But AJ has been an incredible wide receiver. He has hands down been, and I don't want to say this because I'm biased, but he's been the best receiver to ever put on an Eagles jersey. Uh, So it really sucks to see it
while playing for
possibly
the
come to
Eagles.
an end like this. You said what? I'm sorry.
Like while playing for the Eagles, because To is like obviously greater all time, but his stint with the Eagles.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I
Yeah,
think that AJ could end up being regarded higher at the end of his career. There's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to
top
happen. I
five
just think
receiver.
I think it's a possibility. He'd have to go dominate a little
100%.
bit more. He'd have to be out of Philadelphia for that to happen. And I hate to say that, but I think that's true. It blows.
I
It was a rough end of the
this
season,
team
and I didn't.
my
Go ahead.
sorry, I was my whole point on why I thought I didn't bring this stat up during the podcast because we didn't really want to get into it too much because we've had a lot of like arguments off the air regarding the Eagles this season. But it was just because you guys didn't play week 18. So let's take the 16 games you guys did play. In three of those games, or in the second half, you guys had negative passing yards. That comes out to like a 10% rate. That is just not a playoff caliber like offense, and that's what you guys needed to win this game. And I felt like at the bare minimum, you guys could win a game, maybe two, but I didn't think you guys were gonna make the Super Bowl. I think we talked about that, and ultimately, you're in the situation you're in with the team you are in the city you're in. That's really all you're playing for. Like I know it sucks to say because some fan bases like the Carolina Panthers should just be happy
No,
to be
no, no,
there,
no, no.
but as
That's
the
extremely
Eagles, you
true.
want the ball.
Especially if you're a defending champion. It doesn't matter what city you're in.
Yeah,
If you're a defending champion with the vast majority of the core of that championship team still there, the expectation should be that you do it again. It should be. And
should
they
be.
felt immensely short of that expectation. They did all season, and it wasn't just signs. I mean, they were. It was there. It was. I chose to ignore them. I chose to hope, and a big part of it is because, like I just said, that like that core of the team was still here. So my expectation was that we could flip a switch, and we never did. We didn't turn a new page. It was the same thing. It was the exact same thing, and the defense went out there, and I honestly think they balled. I know that they ultimately allowed 23 total points, which is more than we have in weeks of football, but I don't really think it's their fault. I don't understand how you're supposed to play perfect defense when your offense
On
cannot
the
do
field.
anything.
Yeah,
They can't do anything. It honestly surprised me
I
when I
agree.
saw the time of possession still swayed 10 minutes in our favor. I really want to know what the numbers are just for the second half. I couldn't find it, but I know that the defense was on the field way more than the offense was. It was just it
Rough.
sucks. It sucks. Uh, I don't really
We'll be
got
back.
too much more to say. I do agree. I think that we will be
Yeah, I
back.
don't
It
know.
sucks. I mean, I'll say a little quick side note because Patula was dismissed today, so there is an OC opening. I think it's a really rough OC opening because obviously I'm sure all Eagles fans want to fill it with a top tier name, and I'm just going to use it as an example, like Mike McDaniel. But if we were to, and he's getting interviewed for head coaching jobs, so who knows if he's even an offensive coordinator this year? You know what I mean? But if we were to, it just feels like signing up for another year and then having to find another one again. So that sucks. It just feels like a weird spot to be in. Core of the team's so good. I hope AJ doesn't want out. I can't imagine he wants to stay right now, but hope that's not the case. I'm excited for the future of this team, but we're only getting older, so it does suck to lose a game like this, waste a season like this, waste a defense like that, and to ultimately be I mean, it wasn't really for anything, you know. Like it wasn't close. It's not like we were in the championship game. It wasn't. The team wasn't very good. We were a product of our division. Is ultimately what it feels like at this point. So
That's sort of a product of having elite talent with mismanagement. That's what like, and yeah, the division could come into it for sure, but it just felt like you're so talented. Some of these games you're just gonna overcome. Like it's just that simple. You're gonna have an AJ Brown explosion.
well, we lost all
You're
the
gonna have a
AJ
great
Brown
Saquon
explosions.
game. Well, yeah, those were in the early, but you get what I mean. It's just kind of like, regardless of how bad the offensive play calling was in a lot of moments, it was still like, oh yeah, no, we have two top 10 receivers and we have a top five running back, and you know, it's disappointing year, but you still have the basis for an amazing team, and you just gotta get the coaching right. And
Completely
I'll play
agree.
my
I think
flag
it's
right
a
here.
little
I'm
hard
out
to
on
do.
senior.
Let's
I
say
don't
it's a
like
little hard
coaching
to do when
at
he's
all.
the head coach there still. So I mean, that seems like another conversation for another day. There's still two more playoff games to discuss, and then four more to try to predict. So I think we should just move
Yeah,
it along for today.
yeah.
Let's go to the next football game that
Although
was
I will
on.
say these last two,
Go ahead.
not a lot to say. I feel like.
All
to be honest.
right,
Like,
well,
not
fair
even the
enough.
takeaways.
We're relatively one-sided, so we'll go to this next one, which is Drake May's first playoff game. Drake May's first playoff victory. Chargers in New England, 16-3 victory. Correct? Did I get
Yep.
that right? Okay, so I thought Herbert's now 0-3 in the playoffs through 6 seasons, and yeah, I'm gonna turn it to you. I mean, this is your team. You just let me, have my therapy session. So
Now, there's not too much to take away from this game. Like, I think Drake May, it was a playoff game. I thought he'd be ready for it way more than he was. It kind of surprised him a little bit, got up on him. He had a really bad first half passing wise. With using his legs,
yeah, he
he
was
carried
very
us.
dynamic
He was
with his
awesome.
legs.
And in the second half, he was actually surgical. He was himself again, in my opinion. Like 9 of 11 passing. He did have that fumble where it's like that is the only knock I will say in that second half is like, oh, the only way the Chargers get back in this game is if they strip sack, scoop and score. And he got strip sacked, and Jared Wilson with like Madden mechanics just flew to the ball. And like I'm so grateful for him doing that. I did not like that at all. Felt like he wasn't aware of his surroundings a little bit, and that was a little nerve wracking.
It was a
But he had a
weird,
great second
like,
half.
where'd you think he go? Where'd you think he
Yeah,
went, man? Like one of
yeah.
those moments.
Yeah, like what you're doing. You sometimes the play's dead. You just gotta know when the play's dead. But he had that amazing throw to Hunter Henry. He had a couple of
Agreed.
awesome just moments in that game. So
A
not
lot
gonna be
with
too
his
hard on him. His
legs.
first playoff game. I'm a lot with his legs. I'm not gonna be too hard on him because it's his first playoff game, and maybe I'm coping a little bit or just glass half empty or full, whatever you want to say. But I think he'll be fine.
You know what I will say?
What really surprised me.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry, I thought that was the end of your
I was just
sentence.
gonna say I was just gonna say I didn't think we could win like this. I talked about it on the pod. I thought it was gonna be like we're gonna have to score more than they do, and ultimately that's how you always have to win. That sounds redundant, but I didn't think we had this type of performance in us because I thought the product of the soft schedule hasn't been the offense; it's been the defense. Us playing like historically awful offenses all year. I thought our team's not prepared. We're not as good as the stats say, and that's gonna rear its head. And for us to come out there and just suffocate them, I think it was like 30 pressures on 31 pass attempts or something, like something
Dang,
ridiculous.
insane. 6 sacks. Yeah.
Like I didn't think that was in us at all, genuinely. So it was awesome to see. I'm not saying that that'll be a consistent thing, but when you have Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, and they're the two of
Miss
the
him
top
every
three
day.
pressure, two of the top three pressures from the interior D linemen in the NFL, um, like we're gonna get there. And especially, and not to preview too much, but like against the Texans, their interior offensive line is weak. I think we're gonna have a very similar pressure. No, okay, I'm not gonna say that because that's actually insane. We're gonna get pressure on the next team we play too. I just didn't think we had that in us. I thought our pass rush was dead. I thought our coverage was
Pain to
weak.
say because of how
It didn't
good of a
work out like
game it
that.
was, but I do see what you're
Yes,
saying. In like getting to him could be
yes.
not of equal, because I mean you did just play the worst
No,
offensive line in the league, but
not even half that would be unprecedented. Even 15 pressures would be 2 times the amount we got this season. You know what I mean? It's like that's how bad we have been. Like I, I didn't think we had it in us, and it felt really good to
it was
win
a
a
hell of a
different way.
way. It was a hell of a
Makes it
way
feel
to win a
scarier.
football game. Like to go out there into, because I think that this week could be a different way to win. I mean that defense is very good, so I'm not going to sit here and say I think you're going to go give them the Panthers treatment that the Patriots gave the Panthers this season. But that said, I do think that this could be
Offensive,
high scoring compared to what they allow. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I think that you guys have potential to go out there and drop 26 points, 27 points, and you're winning. If you drop 27 points against the Texans, you're going to win the game. So we can elaborate a little bit more on predictions, but I do completely agree that the D line, they got after it. 6 sacks. Milton was incredible. Barmore had some plays in there. It was just a whole unit.
In the run game. It wasn't even just the passing. Like
They
it
were
was
all
like
over
them.
the
They
place,
were
and
double teamed every play on the run games, and it just allowed us to shoot the gaps so easily. It was
Milton
so
Williams.
impactful.
Milton Williams was incredible for the Eagles. We talked about it in the podcast. My only concern was that I never saw him as a full time starter because of the way the Eagles run a defensive line unit. I didn't know if he quite would have the gas tank. I think he's answered all those questions. He is fantastic. His motor is just, it might be the best in the league at the position that he is in. He's
His speed might be the best in the
Yes,
league.
he gets to the quarterback fast, but he's not just fast. He's not just finesse. He's power. He will go through you. He doesn't care.
Converts speed to power. It's such an
It's
insane.
so it's wild. He's really good. I could go on and on because Eagle legend. But you guys really got after it, and I have two things to say. One, do you guys have like the Timu version of Sonic and Knuckles? I'm not.
Maybe,
I'm not gonna
but
disrespect Gibbs. I
not.
think Gibbs is fantastic, but Trayvion's
Yeah,
got that type of like Gibbs impact of breakaway speed, and then
he's definitely
Ramadre's
hard.
got that strength that Montgomery brings. Montgomery, honestly, I mean, Mondre might be better than Montgomery. That might be a crazy statement, but
I think Mondre is.
he's just such a complete back.
I've been saying it. Yeah, yeah. I've been saying it all year, and he's been one of my favorite players all time for the Patriots last few years. Not all time. I'm not gonna take that back. I'm gonna take it back. He's been one
Fair
of my
enough.
favorite players last few years, but I've always had everyone has a problem with his fumbling issue. It's like insane. He's cleaned that up a lot this year. Knock on wood. But it's like his vision, his size to move the way he does. I think it's really underestimated. I called him Saquon Barkley Crystal Light yesterday or 2 days ago.
That was funny.
Um, he moves as in a different way than I feel like his size would allow. And I think Travion Henderson down to down is like sometimes a net negative. I know that's gonna sound crazy, especially if you're maybe a Patriot fan listening to this. He has like no vision, and it really frustrates me, especially when you have someone like Mondre who's going to get you 6 yards. And sometimes, I want the 60-yard explosiveness, but I can't take it with 1 yard rushes. You know what I mean? Like the other 7 attempts. It's uh, not to crap on Henderson because he's awesome. I love him. It's just
See, it
Stevenson
could
is
be the
way more
team move
consistent.
Sonic and Knuckles, man. It could be
Yeah,
the
it is. It
Wish
probably is
Sonic and
the way. Yeah,
but
they're
it's
they're they're a great defensive. They're a
they're a
great
good
duo.
1-2 punch. Great 1-2
Yeah.
punch. I
I
mean,
just wish it was more consistent.
it's
I don't
thunder
know.
and lightning, which is what you want. But all right, I'm gonna.
One ran a pass game.
I want to end it with a question because going into the game, I didn't ask this, and I kind of wish I did. But coming out of the game, I am ultimately super curious what you say. Who's the better NFL head coach, Jim Harbaugh or Mike Vrabel?
Oh, going into this, I think I might have. I think I still would have been a homer and leaned Mike Vrabel, but like Harbaugh's like resume definitely is uh, like sparkling and spick and span. Like he wins everywhere he goes. Like he goes to Super Bowls, he goes to national championships. Like he's awesome. But coming out of this game, for sure, I'm gonna go Vrabel. I would have went into it regardless, going to win Vrabel, just because I love Vrabel. But he won. And he managed the game like
I thought that he did
he
a
saw it on the
very,
fourth
very good
quarter.
job. And honestly, the way his players react to him and his energy on the
Yeah, I
sideline,
love it. I
he's
love it.
he's what you want a head coach, and I know what you don't want a head coach. So, all right, I'm good on this game. If you're good, I think we can move
Yeah,
on to this Monday
I
night
can't.
game. This
I
total
guess I'll
snooze
say
fest. Go
just
ahead.
one. Like, do you think? Do you think? I think I already know what you think, but just to get it out there, just to plant our flags on Herbert. Uh, is this just Herbert? Is he just a playoff collapser in your mind, or is there context? And you're leaning towards like there's excuses?
I don't think I've ever been the like Herbert purist that everyone else has been. I can appreciate his talent, and I do think he's a fantastic quarterback. But I don't think I've ever been as high as everyone else. But for me, I kind of honestly think it is at a point where he's going to have to prove to me he could win a playoff game because I'm not going to give it to him. Like they fired their offensive coordinator, they can hire a great one and make some changes on that O line, and maybe it is the surrounding things. Maybe it is, but you're 0-3 in the playoffs and you're 6 seasons in. Some you
Yeah,
just are what you are at some point, and
that's
I
kind of where I'm
mean,
at too.
I don't want to write him off too early. It could be something similar to Stafford, I guess, in his start to his playoff resume with Detroit, but it definitely doesn't feel nearly as bad as what Stafford had to deal with. So we'll
Well, the
see,
first
but
one,
he's gonna have to prove it to me.
first game, I felt like it was like a coaching collapse.
You never
He
were
was young.
a Staley guy.
Yeah, he was young. The second one, I can't defend at all, like whatsoever. And then this one, again, I can't even defend it. I know he had a lot of there was a lot of things he had to overcome, but even when receivers
I
were
mean,
open,
I
even when he had
noticed.
time, he wasn't hitting them.
I
He wasn't
agree.
hitting.
I know that he's been dealing with his left hand injury. I know that that is the worst offensive line in the league, but there were
Yeah,
definitely misses in that game. That's why I think
when it's
it
a
has to
3-3
be.
ball game, he's missing them layups. Like
It has to. I feel like it has to be. You have to prove it now. You can't.
yeah,
It
yeah, I
can't.
agree.
Like I'm trying to think of how to explain it. Like you know what, this is the perfect way. If next season, because it's not gonna happen this year, but if next season in the first round it was Texans and CJ versus Chargers and Herbert, I think Herbert might be the better regular season quarterback. I don't think you can give him the edge in the playoffs. I don't think you can. He hasn't
Yeah.
won.
Yeah.
So
Where the
and
Texans have one every
and
year.
that'll lead us into our next conversations. Texans go into Pittsburgh and I almost dominate, I guess. Dominate in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
30 to
Fake dominate.
6. CJ Stroud was 21 of 32 for 250 yards and a touchdown. Did have an interception and two fumbles lost. Um,
Not to
Woody
mention all
Marks
the
looked
fumbles he
pretty
had to
good.
jump on. Yeah, Woody Marks looked good.
And I mean, I'm going to start with a question. Does Nico Collins get the injury prone tag?
He
It's
might,
not.
man.
It's not even
Chris
supposed to be a question,
Olave
man. It just feels.
situation.
It feels so frustrating. It's more than just his head, though.
Yeah.
Yes, this one is, and I'm sure it's frustrating for him too. I'm not trying to say it's a him issue. It's like every time I want to watch Nico Collins
He's
play
not a
football,
land.
he's not available.
He doesn't know how to land. That's what
But
it
it's
really
it's
feels like.
hamstring and it's foot and it's
Yeah.
ankle and it's
No, the
calf and
hamstring, yeah, but the hamstring and the hamstring, yes, but the ankle and the foot. It's just because this dude does not know how to land. Like
and you
he's
could be
going for
right,
that
but it's
ball at
just
all
frustrating.
costs.
It's frustrating. I feel like he's not
It is
available to his
frustrating,
team like
especially
ever.
because I love him as a player so much. He's one of my top three receivers in the NFL. I love to watch him.
The defense
It is
balling.
frustrating. Oh yeah. Whew.
Their defense is
Golly,
balling
that
now. I
defense is
mean,
different.
Daniil and Will Anderson were exactly what you expect out of probably the best defensive end duo in the league. Christian Kirk legacy game.
It is. It's like,
Eight
but
catches, 144 yards, and a touchdown. And I don't think half of America knew he played there.
I think way more than half of America didn't know he played. I get what you're saying.
I don't think the
But
score told the first story, but I do have a crazy
I
stat
agree with that.
that I did. I did prep this one. This one's not a stolen stat. However, I have seen it used some other places. I guess we all researched the same stuff. The Steelers are the first team in NFL history to lose 5 straight playoff games by 10 plus points, by double digits.
They just like squeak their way in there and then they get embarrassed, man. Every year.
I guess
Just
now it's
get in
probably
those
about time
games.
we should say that Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Probably should have led this segment with it, but
Yeah.
Tomlin
We've been
is out.
saying for yeah,
It's
we've been saying for a while. It's probably time.
it felt like a long time coming, and I
Felt like
think
it was time.
Steelers fans they're ready for this change as
They're
well.
hopeful.
And it's not. I don't think it's a. I don't know. I don't want to say it's an indication that Tomlin is past his coaching prime, but it was definitely time to go in Pittsburgh. They weren't doing anything. He clearly doesn't know how to pick a quarterback. That's evident. I don't care what anyone says. He can't. He wants to be a defensive coach and win 9 games and keep his record alive and get into the playoffs just barely, like you said, squeak in and then get embarrassed, which is exactly what has happened the last 6 playoff games now. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
and it just felt like it was time. It was time for a change. And Tomlin stepping down feels like exactly what they needed in Pittsburgh to kind of keep their name and what they do and how they handle coaching situations. And was Rodgers' last throw in the NFL a pick six?
Yes. Yes. Oh no, I guess we don't know if it's his last throw, but I'd say yeah. I would.
No, it definitely was. Like it was literally just his last throw. But I'm asking you,
Not, yeah.
is
Is he
Rodgers'
done
last
playing?
throw in the
Is what I'm
NFL
saying.
a pick six?
Yeah. Well, if he plays again, obviously it's not gonna be. Yeah, I don't think he plays again. So yeah, I'm gonna go yes. I'm gonna take the over on that.
All right,
Or the under, however you want to phrase that.
that's an interesting one. I think I want to agree with you, but it's Aaron Rodgers, so it just feels like
I come back.
he'll linger or not actually retire or
Philip Rivers.
not even that long gone. I'm talking like this season. Just
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco it. Yikes, I'd actually
I
hate
can see
that
that.
ending for him. Woody Marks was fantastic. 19 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Thought he was very
Very
impressive.
good.
He ran hard, and
He does run hard.
also curses a little hard. Some interesting
Yeah,
mic
and
moments.
they just kept it on him too. Like I was like, y'all ain't gonna cut away. It's like this kept
I think it's safe to say he's not a fan of the Steelers fans.
the biggest, the largest. Like, okay, so my takeaway from this game was the whole time I was thinking one team is going to make a play. and it is
A
going
play,
to
like singular.
open up. Yes, because it was a
Snooze
cat
fest.
fight. Yeah, for 3.5 quarters. And I was just someone, and ultimately, which is it's kind of insane because the Steelers couldn't get a third down, and the Texans were converting the third downs at like an insane clip. So it kind of shocked me that it was so ineffective. But it came down to CJ Stroud just turning the ball over so much. It was going to come down to me: who's going to convert, who's going to have this explosive play, and take the lead, and make the other team play way more aggressive. You know what I mean? And play above their skis. And it came down to the Christian Kirk 3rd and 12 catch for 40 whatever yards on Duggar. RIP my goat. He's washed now. Um, like CJ Stroud stepped into that pocket, delivered a great ball. They get a field goal out of that drive, and now all of a sudden the Steelers are down 4, and they got to play way more aggressive. Their average yards of attempts would go from like behind line of scrimmage to 5 yards down the field, and all of a sudden the Texans defense comes like to life exactly how you expect it to. They're getting picks, they're getting strip sack fumbles. Like the game opened up because one team had to get more aggressive. That's what I thought it was going to come down to. Who's going to have the lead and who's going to have to push. And whoever is having to push, their defense is going to swallow that quarterback alive. And that's just what happened. I thought it was just that 1 3rd and 12 is what comes down to in my
I
mind.
would also say that Aaron Rodgers' just inability to get over it was part of this game. And what I mean by that is you throw a ball to your best offensive weapon in DK Metcalf and he drops it and you decide he's done for the game. Like he's done.
Huh.
I'm not looking his way again. He literally didn't get another target till the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, dang, that sucks actually.
I'm not gonna I've heard a lot in the media that they're saying that he completely iced him out. I didn't think that that's what it was in real time, but I definitely feel like we all watched that drop happen and in the moment kind of knew like Aaron is not giving you the ball again for a minute.
Yeah,
That's
he's so
just who he
fickle
is.
like that. I know, it's so annoying.
And I
That
think
guy
it's
was over.
beyond. I think it's just beyond frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. He didn't see. I'm sure DK Metcalf feels awful. I mean, did you hear the story they were saying about him in the game? He was
No.
so nervous watching that game that he was suspended for, and all the feelings that went around it for why he was suspended. I'm sure, and said that when they had won, he was so excited he wanted to be able to come celebrate with his team, and he drove there just to get stuck in traffic and not be able to actually get in to see his teammates. But it was like a feel good story a little bit, like he messed up, he knew he messed up, he was rooting him on, they made a play, and then it's just like you hear that story, he drops one ball, and now his quarterback's like, "You're done, bud. Like no more for you." Aaron Rodgers is like just the most diva quarterback I've ever.
Yeah.
He just ended his possible last presser with an F bomb too. Like he handled the situation exactly
Dig
how
it
I
to
thought.
Jets.
Yeah, he did take a shot at the Jets and then ended it with like, "What kind of question is that?" I think his exact wordage did include that F bomb. Like, what the kind of question is that? So, very Aaron Rodgers way to end a playing career, if it is the end at least.
But I
But
want to give the flowers though, because like the Steelers shouldn't have been there, but the Texans still like their
handle
defense is
business.
insane. Their offense is awful to watch. Like
It's pretty boring.
I know I was comparing them on our off-screen arguments, like oh, if you believe in the Eagles, you gotta believe in the Texans. The Texans offense is it might statistically be similar, significantly worse though. Like oh my god, on a down-to-down basis, it is unbelievably bad. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like a you know 8th grade offense.
Junior high
But their
school type
defense
play
is but their
calls.
defense is so their
It's
defense is
very
more
good.
than championship caliber. So it kind of scares me as a Pats fan because it feels like a buzz saw. But at the end of the day, it's night. But the Chargers game gives me hope that we can actually game plan and stop these awful bum offenses from moving the ball. And we might get bubble guppy allegations because we're playing probably two of the three worst offenses that came into the playoffs. But I don't care. I don't care. Give me them. I don't care. Give me all of them, bro. I don't care.
Well,
That's what it feels like for me. Sorry.
yeah, I don't want to. No, no, you're fine. I was just gonna say
The
it
Texans
didn't feel
are
like there was
so
too
good
too much to speak on because this
defensively.
game is
I think
exactly
their
what we
Achilles heel is
anticipated.
easily their offense, and it's going to bite them.
Yeah, no,
But
I completely
congrats on
agree with
winning.
you. Completely agree with you. They took care of business. They handled what they needed to. They got the win. That said, I do think we should jump right into a playoff look ahead.
Yep.
Start with the first game of the weekend. It is Bills in Denver.
Denver.
in Denver. The number one defense in terms of getting after the quarterback aims to contain Superman. Who do you got?
Uh, I really want it to be the Broncos, but I'm just not going to pick against Josh Allen against a quarterback that I don't. I believe in Trevor Lawrence a little bit. I don't believe in.
Never in my life have I been a believer. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, we both. I picked the Bills to win. Or I picked the Broncos to win their division, but it was strictly off the Chiefs just
I want good
beginning
football.
of the
I want
year.
Bills Patriots 3. I just gave away
Uh,
my last game, but I want
I
Bills
don't know
Patriots
if I.
3.
I want, yeah, I think we could do it. I think we could beat any team. That's how confident I am at this point, and I have to be. But God, I would rather play Bo Nix in
I'm
Denver.
sure you would, and that means that you have a brain. So
Yeah, but
I'm
the
gonna
Bills
take the
are.
Bills.
I'm
I'm
taking the
gonna
Bills.
take the
Yeah,
Bills. It is
and
a
I'm
really
honestly
good
taking the Bills
defense
on
in
a blowout.
Denver. It is a really good defense in Denver. Their offense has actually been surprisingly good. Like, if I'm being honest, in terms of
It's
statistics.
gimmicky
So
though.
yeah,
It's
exactly,
gimmicky.
and they're good in the fourth quarter. They're semi Bears, I guess. But yeah,
Clutch.
I'm not going against Josh Allen. I was 50-50 last time. I'm not really feeling 50-50 this time. I think in the
Yeah.
playoffs, with playoff proven quarterbacks especially, you take the guy who's better, and it's not
I'm
close
I'm
in
taking
this
the Bills
situation.
by 14 plus points.
I love it.
That's where I'm going.
I love it. I don't like
That's
it.
where I'm at.
All right, and then the next game is 49ers Seahawks 3. They met
Yeah.
just 2 weeks ago in a 13-3 final, and I decided that day that we were going to beat them because our defense is better than Seattle's. I stand corrected. Match 3 this year. It is a 1-1 series. The first meeting was week 1, so it's been a while, but
Hmm.
Seattle's offense is actually the surprise. Like I said, surprisingly good about Denver. It's not really fair to say Seattle's is surprisingly good. Like they're third in terms of points per game. They can attack you both through the air and running. I mean, it kind of depends on what Kenneth Walker shows up, in my opinion, but they can get it done with Charbonnet as well. I was kind of hoping that last week the story was watching that Eagles Niners game was that Fred Warner was telling teammates if they won that he'd be back for this one. They did just open his practice window, but they did kind of say that it's not this game. It is win this one, and he's expecting the championship to be his return. So, with that said,
Crazy's been coming back.
with that said,
Good.
give me the 49ers.
Oh, really? Give me the Seahawks, bro. I
I'm
feel like
I'm
it's gonna be.
I'm 50-50. I think Seattle is the better team. I really do.
Mhm.
I'm hating. I'm just pure
Yeah, I
hating.
was gonna
I'm
say.
pure
Yeah.
hating. I think
I.
Seattle's going to win the game. I do think the Seahawks are going to win the game. I think that their defense is much better. They're going to contain the offense, and I think their offense honestly is going to be able to do
They're
what
gonna
the
move the
Eagles
ball
couldn't
well.
do. And yeah, they're going to be able to sustain drives and more than that, play a second half of football. Because honestly, if the Eagles could do that, the Niners aren't here. That's
First
the
half
truth.
quarters.
So
Like I
I'm
think it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
honest. I think the
a
Seahawks are
closer
gonna
ball
win this
game.
game, but I kind of want the 49ers to win at this point. I
I think
really
it's gonna
do.
be been two really close games between them this year, and I don't think that's gonna change. But I think the way they were close has changed. Or I guess you can argue 16-3 or whatever isn't a close game. You can argue that, sure. But the first game came down to like a jump ball that Tariq Woolen should have picked off,
It's
right?
13-3, by the way.
Yeah, 13-3, sorry, yep. In the first game with against the Niners and Seahawks, like Tariq Woolen should have came down with that ball. He didn't. Oh well. It was a close game. Last time they played was a close game, but I felt like that was we talked about this was just because the Seahawks were like, we're just going to keep the ball in our hands. We're going to take these field goals because you're not going to move on our defense, and we're just going to drain the clock out. And I think it's going to be a very similar situation to that. Maybe more points are scored because it's the playoffs and you're more prepared and whatever you want to say. I just don't see the Niners being able to just like consistently score on the Seahawks, and I could see the Seahawks consistently scoring on the Niners when they need to. That's just what it comes down to me. Better
I think
defense
you're right.
and
I'm
close
coping.
offense.
I'm coping because you want to lose to the best team, but
Mm-hmm. I agree
they
with
weren't
that
the best
sentiment.
team. We just weren't good enough, and ultimately I got to come
But
to terms with
also,
that. I'm still delusional.
you
I still don't
could.
want to believe that. Give me the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean Brock Purdy. If he's made the playoffs, he's made the NFC Championship every year. So you're on the right side of history with that. You know.
I don't think it's impossible. Like I don't think it's gonna be a
No, it's
blowout.
not at all.
I don't
It's
think it's
not
gonna
at
be a
all.
blowout.
Sam
I
Darnold
think
could
it's gonna.
Sam Darnold.
I think it
That's what
might
it comes
truly
down to.
come
That's
down
what you got
to
to do.
that is definitely a very big possibility. I also think it
That
might
is,
come
yeah.
down to last team with the ball. And if Brock Purdy has the ball, he might do it. He might. And I don't know
Yeah,
if I would have
I can
felt
see
that
it.
way a year ago, but I don't know if I would have felt that way 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, I feel the way now. I agree with you.
I do feel that way
Got that
right
little
now,
it
and
factor.
yeah. So, all right, onward. We've talked a little bit about it, but the first game of Sunday, Texans
That's
taking
Texans.
on New England in New England. Drake May was under pressure last week against the Chargers. Is he's going to be under even more duress this game? I would anticipate so with the defense that he's going against.
You know what?
And
I don't know. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. Sorry, I'm
no,
just
you're
jumping.
fine.
I'm chomping
You're
at the
fine.
bit here. I don't know if it will because it's a different type of pressure. Does that make sense? The Texans are very much we're gonna beat you head to head, man, straight up. We're just gonna bull rush your tackles. We're gonna get them a speed, right? The Chargers loop so much. There's so many stunts. There's so much going on at the line of scrimmage. They overload one side. You know what I mean? And overall, I think the interior for the Chargers is better. So it was kind of like everyone's on an island and we need to figure it out. And then when someone does a stunt loop, whatever you want to say, they're easy getting to Drake May. The Texans don't do that. They're very much just four down linemen. We're gonna just beat you straight up. And I feel like that's more manageable for our O line because we got a bunch of rookies and they're not prepared for like all these exotic things they're looking at. But when it comes to just like I gotta beat the man in front of me, I feel a little bit more confident. I don't know. Maybe I'm being ignorant here, but that's just how it felt to me. Was like the stimulated pressure by the Chargers is like insane, but the regular Texans they just four down linemen. We're gonna beat you because we're better, and I'll take that low key over the simulated stuff when it works.
Well, mix that with CJ Stroud not having the prettiest of ball games against that Steelers front and Steelers
Looks
defense in
so
the
bad.
entirety. Do you expect, and I know you're probably going to say no, but do you expect he will look better versus this Patriots defense?
I do think you look better. I'm
I don't.
because our defense is not even the Steelers level. I
I don't
don't
believe
want
that
to.
either.
I'd rather.
The
I
highest paid
appreciate you saying
defense
that
in the
because
league, but they're not. They are extremely
I'd
underwhelming.
I'd rather be. I mean, maybe it's just part of me is like hedging my bet here, right? Like making sure I'm not getting over my skis and getting too much of my, whatever you want to say, just getting too big for my britches.
I think CJ
Uh,
Stroud
I'm
loses
not
in
gonna
this
take
game.
one game. I think so too. I think he does lose in this game, but I don't think it's the same way. Like I don't think he's gonna just score seven into like our defense. I don't want to let that Chargers game give me a big head or give anyone like an impression. Our defense is the sorriest part of our team. Gonzo might not play. This CJ Stroud I could see CJ Stroud scoring 20 plus points against us because our defense is not like that. It's not 30 pressures and it's not 3 points allowed. It's somewhere closer to the worst defense left in the playoffs, to be honest.
Maybe that is the case, but I do believe in Drake May. I think he was able to work out those kinks, and I do
That's
think
why
that
I believe it.
I do think that we can't say it now because he's one game into his playoff career, but I do think when we look back on it, and I don't know, let's go 5 years because you got to get kind of a resume in the playoffs, you know. So let's go 5 years. I think he's gonna kind of get that Patrick Mahomes nod, where it's like, can he use his legs in the regular season and be effective? Yes, but in the playoffs, he's dangerous with his legs. And I think he already proved that just in one game. I think you've known it that he is dangerous scrambling. I think Patriots fans
White Vic.
know that he is. Did you say White
He's
Vic?
got, yeah,
White Vic.
he
It's
has.
a little crazy, but he's very. He's not. He's as like kind of
What was
like
he?
a stereotypical racism as this is gonna sound, but right, he's deceptively fast. He is. He's surprisingly or shockingly
North my top
athletic.
speed.
But I do think that we're not going to say it now because it's a little too early. Because he's just, every game is kind of building his legacy. He doesn't have one yet, but I do think that what he's going to be known for is turning up with his legs in the playoffs and obviously
In
the
the
deep
short term.
ball as well. His ability to hit a deep ball and tear up a defense with his arm. I don't think that'll ever be taken for granted or undermentioned or anything like that. I just think that he will get that kind of Patrick Mahomes nod when it comes to can he run the ball in the regular season? Yes, but in the playoffs, it's a different version. It's dangerous. It can kill you. And I honestly think that that's what's going to happen this week. I think that the edges that the Texans have are going to force him up in the pocket, and it's both going to create A, great plays with his legs, and B, insane deep shots because that's just who this dude is. I'm telling you, I could see it. I wasn't as early as you. You wanted him out of college. You knew he was going to be better than JD. I like Daniels. The second that draft happened the way it did, had to switch my mind because I'm not rooting on a division foe. Had to change it all up. I'm a Drake May purist, and that's who he is. He's going to get forced up in the pocket. He's going to A, take off and make great plays with his legs, or B, he's going to dice up the defense and find the holes. This is a great defense in terms of not just their edges, but this is the best tackling defense since Seattle's Legion of Boom. Like, they are a fantastic defense.
They rallied the ball.
They are incredible at like, their corners can tackle.
That's why I'm scared.
Their corners can tackle. That said, I don't think the approach they took against the Steelers will work, because the approach they took against Steelers, in my opinion, was our guys on defense are better than your guys on offense. We will literally give you some cushion. Catch the ball. You're not getting past us. I don't think that's a good thing to do with Stephon Diggs, someone who is that shifty with his after the catch movement. He's savvy. He's very high IQ after the catch. I think that him and Hunter Henry, and honestly, I do think Kyle Williams can be a very big aspect in this game when it comes to taking the top off in this game. And when you're moving up in the pocket, I think that attacking the middle of the field, Diggs, and deep downfield in Kyle Williams are going to be two very big aspects of this ball game. I don't think this game is going to be as close as you anticipate it will be. That said, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But give me the Pats.
Yeah, I think Drake May he's got a taste of the playoffs now. It's not going to be so stunned when he comes out. I think the Texans offense is too poor for them to get past us. But this defense is genuinely like one of the most legit units I've ever seen from top to bottom. They do not have a weakness. And we have some weaknesses on our offense.
They are phenomenal.
That's what scares me. But I'm going to take our coaching staff and our experience. I'm going to take our special teams. I'm going to take
all
our
great
offense.
Points. All great points. Special teams is a hidden gem.
I'm going to take
here.
all of that. Yeah, and Marcus Jones is
phenomenal.
Next level. And they're going to punt a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I think Marcus Jones, I'm not saying he's going to crack one for a touchdown, but he's going to give us some good field positions, and we're going to get some field goals. I know that's not what you want to necessarily hear, but against the Texas defense, you're going to take those field goals. Like, you need them. You'll win a game off 3 field goals. It's just how it is. And they scare me, but I'm confident because I think we could go and win the whole thing. So I have to.
Maybe because their defense is good, and I can see
it's not that
none of these games. There is not a single one of the games in this, like in this round, and I don't think it ever will be this way. Like the Final Four on each conference, I don't think there's ever going to be a game where you're like, if this team wins, I'm shocked. But the closest I'll get to it would be the Texans beating the Pats, to be honest.
I appreciate that. I was going to say Bears-Rams is what I was thinking.
Really, because I strongly disagree, and I'm going to give you reasons why.
All right, well, we can get to that game right now in a second, but we both got the Patriots. You got the Niners. I got the Seahawks. We both got the Bills.
I got the Niners almost out of hate, though. Not even almost.
Yeah, I got you.
It's not. I think the Seahawks are the better team. The Seahawks are the better team. They're the better team on offense. They're the better team on defense. The only thing I think the Seahawks have, or the Niners have over them, is quarterback play and, well, Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, they have the best player offensively, but I think it's incredibly close because JSN's been incredible this year. So, yeah, that's my closing thoughts. I'm taking the Niners, but it's mostly out of hate. I'm standing on business.
The AFC Championship.
I do think it's going to be a Pats Bills Part 3.
And then the NFC West Championship. No. You have the Bears. Sorry. We'll get to that.
No. I don't have the Bears. I'm just saying that there's opportunity for the Bears here.
Got you.
All right. I'll open it up and I'll explain why. Okay. So first off, Rams will be in Chicago, which is the big part of this. The Rams are 6-4 on the road this year, counting this wild card win just last week. Matt Stafford, I couldn't get the exact stats, so bear with me. No pun intended.
Bear down.
Matt Stafford is 1-8, I believe. This was kind of hard to track. 1-8 in snow games, and this forecast this weekend is expected to be very, very low temps, around single digits, with quote periods of snow. Granted, he was pretty damn good last year in that game in the divisional against us in Philadelphia in the snow. He also made some game-losing throws at the end of the game, and I think that the snow was a very big part of that, as well as they forgot to block Jalen Carter a couple times. But this isn't a topic about us. I just wanted to bring those points to the table because they do give me a little a little speck of like, whoa, wait, maybe the Bears will win. However, I do have the Rams. I think they're the better team, top to bottom. I do believe in their defense more than I believe in Chicago's defense. Chicago's defense is opportunistic. Matt Stafford did turn over the ball just last week. Like, he had an interception. He put it in harm's way a couple of times. I think there's a possibility that they turn him over, and I think there's a possibility the snow plays a factor in this game. Again, 1-8. I think I can't. It's hard to. There's not like you can't just go to a website and be like weather games for quarterbacks. Like it's kind of hard to look up. But I did the best type of studying I could do, and I'm pretty sure he's 1-8 in games where he plays in the snow. So there are some reasons to think that the Bears can pull this game out, as well as if they're down by, I mean, what in the fourth quarter if they're losing, they might win. Like just because they're losing, they got magic on their side. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe that only really works against the Packers, but they had a couple that weren't against the Packers. It's just even more effective against Green Bay. I'm gonna take the Rams. I'm gonna take the more experienced coach, the more experienced quarterback, the better defense in my opinion, and much better offensive weapons. Maybe it might be a stretch at this point because the Bears are just younger. I just want what's proven, and that's why I'm gonna take LA. But I think there's reasons to believe that they lose.
Yeah, I'm gonna take LA because LA is a team that's good for 4 quarters, and the Bears are a team that are good for a quarter and a half, to a half a quarter. I don't think that they're gonna just keep going against these teams that have these unbelievable collapses. I I guess maybe I'll be a Bears hater until they win it all. Don't prove me wrong. I just can't see the formula working out. I just can't. And the Rams, Matthew Stafford's too experienced. They've won a Super Bowl. They're too good. They're not gonna just
Just
run the
one
ball
rushing
three
yard.
times. They're not gonna run the ball 3 times up 18, up 11 points. Like it's not gonna happen. And honestly, once you get down to the Rams, their defense becomes significantly better because they can pin their ears back and use their biggest strength of the defense, which is that D line. Like I think Caleb Williams is gonna be if it's the same formula he's been following, bad for 3 quarters, great for a fourth quarter, he is going to be in hell. If he could come out and be just consistently good this whole game, I think that's how they have the potential to win it. It's not going to be coming back from an 18-point deficit. That's not going to happen.
I do think
Get
they're a
serious.
much better coach team, and that's just something that Sean McVay won't allow. I kind of try to find ways that other teams could win, and this one to me, there might be more reasons why the Bears could win than any other team. They're the home team, and I think every other game that we're kind of leaning towards the home team in 2 out of the 3 is we got the Bills, but yeah,
Yeah.
Josh Allen's a bit different, and I think that this one is kind of similar. Stafford's not as dynamic as Josh Allen, but he's of equal importance to their offense. So I think it's going to be an incredible ball game. Honestly, I really do. But if the snow plays any factor, I'm a little nervous in that because I kind of don't want to see the Bears in the NFC Championship. I just don't.
Honestly,
I want
I
great
don't.
football.
I
I'm rooting
agree.
for great football. I think the Rams versus yeah, honestly either of their division foe, but I want it to be Seattle for good football purposes. I think Rams Seattle 3 is what we want in the NFC Championship, and I think Bills Pats 3 is what we want in the AFC Championship.
That's what I would want, cinematic wise. But I
Cinema.
would love I would love the Broncos. Take the Broncos any day of the week. Got to beat the Texans first. I'll say the Rams. I I'm scared for them because the Bears seem to have like this magic, like you were just talking about. Uh, but I think Ben Johnson genuinely had an awful start to that Packers game, and he was just like he was over his britches, all that stuff, and he'll be more prepared this week, that's for sure. But he can't be that aggressive against the Rams and it get burnt like that and it work out. I can't see that. It's got to be a different formula. It's got to be consistent offense to beat the Rams. And I know the Rams just got punched in the mouth, and some people are probably doubting them. But I mean, they're the only team I know that I'm like they're gonna get 31 points. You know what I mean? Like that's how everyone else maybe they can get there. I feel like the Rams are book it 30 plus points every week, especially against a bad defense like the Bears, who cannot keep up with their receivers.
Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes it for me. I'm excited for more football. The wild card
So
round blessed us in terms of great football. I'm of course I'm incredibly sad that the Eagles season was put to an end, but I also understand that as kind of sad as this is gonna sound. I try to appreciate every season of football. You're only guaranteed so many in life. So it was great football outside of the Eagles losing.
Has
And
anyone
I'm hoping for another great weekend in this divisional round.
has anyone established themselves as like the favorite in your mind, like the one that like? Because
No,
I felt like it was
I
a little
still think
murky
it's
coming
pretty. I still think it's pretty open. That's why I said I think that you can kind of go through either of these four games and any of these teams and tell me that
They're gonna.
this team will win. And like I'm not gonna be super surprised. Like I said, the Texans winning is probably the most shocked I'd be. But even then, it's like we can both sit here and reasonably explain how the Texans would win a playoff game, win this playoff game in
Yeah,
specific.
they'll score more than their offense does.
So it's just well, we'll see, right? But I
Should be
expect another
exciting.
great weekend of football. I'm excited for. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm hoping for a Bills Rams Super Bowl, but I hate saying that to you
Ah,
because you're my best friend
you
and
mother.
you put on. I didn't mean okay, but hear me out. I'm hoping for a Bills Patriots championship, and once it's there, I'm not rooting for your sadness. It's just not.
Yeah,
It's not in my. I can't do it.
gotta handle this
So
first. Yeah, 100%.
absolutely, handle what's in front of you. We'll talk championships next week. As always, thanks for tuning in. Wings versus rings on everything. This one
On
is
everything.
brought to you by 50% delusion and 50% heartbreak
Heartbreak.
and 100% good riddance to Kevin Patullo.
Yes.
So we'll catch you next week.